First of all, hi, Reggie Whitley here, and I am so excited to be bringing you another episode of The Awakening with who? Reggie Whitley and Shontal Bettis Brown. Tell people hi, Shontal.
Hey, y'all.
So, you know, bless your heart, take the girl out the country, but cannot take the country out the girl. So, what we're going to talk about here is we're going to break this thing up into two parts. And the first thing we're going to talk about is just something that is so often done, but are we doing it enough? Are we overdoing it? Are we maybe doing it for dumb reasons? What is that we're doing? Cutting people off. You know, I'm that cat. I real fast. I be cutting off people. When you do something crazy, I cut you out of my playlist. These celebrities, I ain't gonna listen to your music no more. When I don't agree with you, I cut your movie off of my list to watch. I ain't watching your movies. I'm one who will cut. I cut people off and I forget they exist. I think I do it kind of well because I don't hold like grudges and stuff. But I will cut you off and I will literally just forget. Some people be like, when the last time you talked to? And I'd be like, I forgot all about them. My goodness. No hard feelings or anything. I just forgot that they exist. But are we really cutting people off for the right reasons? Or are we cutting people off to be petty? Are we cutting people off to prove a point? So that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's start with you, Shontal. When is the last time? I won't even say the last time because then they'll know you're talking about them. What was the hardest time that you had cutting somebody off? Somebody who you knew they probably needed to be cut off, or you saw the signs but you ignored them and you finally said, gotta cut them off, gotta let it go.
I think that a lot of people can elaborate on the cutoff between relationships. And when I say relationships, I mean like baby mama, baby daddies. That is the biggest cutoff relationship wise that I feel like would be the best example of cutting people off. Because you cut them off, literally. You get out the relationship. You can cut them off, but you can't really disconnect because of the child. So for me, the biggest cut off I have ever endured was my baby daddy.
So without going too into, of course, because he's still alive, y'all know I dog people out real well when they're no longer here. Because we don't want to like bash the integrity of anybody, but I will also dog out when you're alive. But Shontal has a little more dignity than I do. But what were like the signs? Was it one of those things where, because some people cut people off because, so I give an example. So I've had a friend who we were friends for years, never had a disagreement, much less a fight. And all of a sudden, there was a disagreement that came up. It was the first and last because it was it, over with. But I've also had friends or other relationships where it was something like toward the end, I said, I should have done this a long time ago. So which one of those did you experience?
I think, but see, I have, I should have did it in the first place.
Yeah.
But a blessing came out of it. But I have also experienced, friendships, 20 plus year friendship that I can say it really wasn't a cutoff. It was like an outgrown. Because some people fail to realize you can know somebody as a child. A lot of people, that's just like in a class reunion type thing. And people tend to say, oh, I know her. I went to school with her. Okay, we 40 years old. You knew me when I was 15, 16, 17, 18. So you really didn't know me. You knew me then, but you know of me now. Right. And so I go with that. I think that's you outgrow people. You tend to bond with people when you're younger, and when you get grown and you become older and more wise in decisions. Not saying that they making wrong decisions or whatever the case may be. It's just you kind of outgrow each other.
So
You
what's
know,
the difference in outgrowing a person? Because of course we have seen, maybe experienced people who outgrow people. So you can outgrow them and then you cut them off. And I know we say outgrow, it's not, it's the same thing, still cut them off because there's a disconnect. But we see it where you outgrow them and you cut them off or separate and go about your business, you go about yours, I'm gonna go about mine. Good luck, good riddance, blessings to you. And then there are sometimes when we outgrow people and we say, you know what, I'm gonna reach down, I'm gonna pull you up, I'm gonna walk you with me. I've outgrown you, but I ain't gonna disconnect from you. I'm gonna keep you with me. What's the difference between that? Because I've seen so many who get it wrong. I've seen so many who say I've outgrown, but I'm gonna keep pulling you, and then them people pull you down. But I've also seen where you pull them and you pull them on up. How do
right?
you know when to cut off because of outgrowing, and when to keep them to bring them up?
I I think to keeping a break them. Perfect example. Me and Saraya's godmom. Latricia Edwards, her name. I'm gonna put it out there.
She's
So,
been out there on the show before. Hi
yeah,
there. She was in
yeah,
season 3, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah. I think our relationship has it shown me that the cutoff, and when we say that we have had our ups and downs before. We have gotten to the point where we, whatever, whatever, whatever. But I think the main part is when one of us have failed. I really feel like when you cut off, what did Jesus do? How did Jesus respond to people because they didn't come or they didn't follow him like he wanted them to? Did he just say, excuse my French, the hell with y'all, I ain't fooling with you no more? Or did he give the hand and extend the hand? You don't take it, that's your business. But I'ma always be there. But if you don't take it, I'm not gonna make you take it. And I feel like that's how me and the relationship has always been. There has been, we haven't, you connect, some people you connected to, and you connected to for reasons. And it's not even because of Soraya, because Soraya is 10, she can talk to her and deal with her herself now. But you still have that love that you want to see a person make it. They may not be on the level that you at or progress with a level, and it may take long. It's just like, a kid learning how to walk or learning how to ride a bike. Some kids get it like that. Some kids, it takes them years to learn how to get it. So it's not really like for me, I'm to the point where I don't believe in cutting people off totally. I believe that it's like, I'm not going to deal with you. I don't feel like that's cutting, because if I see you, I'm going to speak. It's your birthday, happy birthday, stuff like that. But it's just the importance of level in my life. I'm going to say that.
So I want to answer the question, what would Jesus do? I think it's the first thing I thought about was when Peter cut off that joker ear. That's like right up my alley. And and Jesus, bless his heart. My God, he was so good, wasn't he? He healed the man's ear. For those of you who didn't read that story, Judas had just betrayed Jesus with the kiss, and the guy came up to arrest Jesus, and Peter cut that joker ear off in defense of Jesus. And Jesus rebuked Peter. He chastised him, and that ain't what we do. But the thing about, so he didn't cut Peter, and he healed the man, by the way. He hit the man's ear, but he didn't cut Peter off. He corrected him, but Peter's humility allowed him to accept the correction. So I think that that's what kept the door shut to being cut off.
Yeah.
he was able to accept the correction. There comes a time, I believe, where certain people, it's like, you know, not saying you got to go around correcting everybody and everything, but when you try to steer them back in the right track, if they just won't do right, I think there's a difference there because it leaves the door open, being that Peter accepted the correction. He didn't, like, fight back or nothing. It leaves it open to, what if Peter would have fought back? Would Jesus cut him off then? So, but I think that that's a very good thing, and it's also good what you were just saying about you don't cut people off completely. I think there's a difference between a cutoff and a mature cutoff. So when you were talking, I was thinking about like a rope. I don't know why I'm very imaginatory when we do podcasts. I was thinking about like a rope, them ropes. Have you ever seen the rope that's like broken and it's tugged, but it's like that one little string that's keeping the two pieces of rope together. So I think that that is what's called not burning the bridge,
Yeah,
because you can have a mature cutoff, and a mature cutoff is you don't go. I have friends who I've known they were friends with other people, and they don't go and bash them. I just don't see them with them anymore.
right.
And I mean, I can say, so where is so and so, and they'll, I don't know. They'll keep it short, so they don't try to bash the person. They'll try to make the person, even if the
Yeah,
person did them bad, that's a such thing as a mature cutoff. And I think that it's important to have mature cutoffs because you want to keep that little string, because there's a good chance that you may have to somehow, it's easier to fix a bridge than it is to rebuild it. And I
exactly.
think that's why it's important to do mature cutoffs, because there's a such thing as reconciliation. When is reconciliation appropriate? When is it necessary? So one of the things that I was looking at is, I, I always say I have a friend, and I really do be having friends, guys. I don't be making stuff. A lot of people talk about themselves, but they say I had
And
a friend.
let me go back to that. When you say the cutoff, I think and many times that when you allow so many people in your circle and in your, you know, in your house,
Space.
even if you allow people to come in your house can get crowded. So it's easier not to deal with a lot of people to cut off if you don't allow a lot of people in. If you get what I'm saying? In a sense where everybody has a room, everybody has a role. You have a business partner, you have a coworker, uh, you have your kids' teachers, you have everybody have a certain level in your life. And I think a lot of people get it mixed up when you try to incorporate a person into everything in your life. And that's why so many people are so easy to cut them off, because you didn't even gave them too much or included them in too much, or your expectations for them was more uh stronger than what they was willing to do. And I think a lot of things you tend to, if you know how to manage that, then you would know how to manage, you know, the whole cutting people off. A lot of people don't have to be cut off, and that's why I say I don't cut a lot of people off, because I don't have a lot of people that I allow in like that to be able for, to cut them off.
So what you just basically said is, what I hear is like, because we don't want it to be, because one of the things that's very wrong that most people do is they be, especially because of past experiences and stuff, or because of a fear, they close the door to not let people in. So one of the things that I want to say, because it almost sounds like that, but I know where you're going. So let me put it this way: you let people in according to your capacity. I may have, because what you just said is, when you let a lot of people in your house, it gets. So I'm thinking about, when you let a lot of people in your house, the more people that come into your house, the messier it'll get. Now, if I live in a one-bedroom apartment and I have a party of 7 people in a one-bedroom apartment, it's a very small one-bedroom, a party of 7 people, it's not going to take much for the 8 of us to get my apartment messy. But if I have 5-bedroom house with a larger living room and a larger dining room and a separate kitchen, it'll take a little bit more for these 7 people to get that house messy. So now I can bring in maybe 10 people. And the house still isn't going to get really messy because my capacity is bigger. Now, when I go over to a mansion, 10 people ain't going to do nothing. I might have to bring in 50 people before it starts to get messy. And so we have to be mindful. Don't just bring in any and everybody, but bring in according to the capacity that you have. Maybe your capacity, maybe your inner capacity is still a 1-bedroom apartment. Maybe my capacity is already at a 5-bedroom home.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody else's capacity is in a little shack. You can't handle too many because the more people you bring in, the messier to get. And you have to be mindful because now you got a lot of cluttering going on. Um, and another thing is you were right when you were talking about how putting people in too much, because one of the alternatives is I see people putting people in too much. Now it's hard to cut them off because now they're your everything. And we have to be wise with this, especially in relationships. They're your everything. They go with you everywhere. Y'all go to lunch every day. They know all your business. Now, no matter what they do, you know they're a bad person. You know that they ain't that good for you. But now it's hard to cut them off. Why? Because they got everything in their hands of yours. And now when they're gone, you're empty, you're lonely, you don't have nothing to do, you ain't got nobody else. And a lot of people do this when they get married. I can commend Shontal, guys, because first of all, I commend her husband too, because we didn't have some people that got married and we just didn't see them no more. It's like, what, did they exist in the first place? Were they a figment of our imagination? They just left. And Shontal was like, I know I'm married, but answer your phone. And then I commend her husband because the husband will go away and be like, when did I even talk to Reggie? Why didn't you talk to Reggie no more? I need you to pick up the phone and call Reggie. And so I said that because we see the opposite. And then when you fall out, we've seen it. When you fall out with your fiance, with your spouse, with your whoever, and all of a sudden you try to reach back out to the ones you dropped, but you dropped them before. So we have to be wise in not cutting off unnecessarily, knowing when to cut off, and knowing that it's okay to cut people off. A lot of people don't think you should cut off family,
Right.
and I just don't agree with that.
And you know what? Family is an iffy thing for me. I believe you should, but I believe in a sense you have to communicate. I really feel like when it comes to family and cutting family off, it's traits and it's generational curses. When I say that, it's like, okay, you got a lying spirit, so you gonna just keep on lying, and you gonna keep on using folks, and you gonna just keep on go right down the line. Okay, you need to use grandma. That's one generation. Then you use this generation. Now you down to the next generation. Like, we ain't finna keep having it. I'm not finna expose you. I'ma love you, but I'm not finna include you. And I think, to me, that's cutting off family. Loving from a distance, but not dealing. So it's like if I have a party or if I have an event, if I know you gonna come over here and disturb the peace at the event, what am I invite you for?
Exactly.
Family, no. Why would I invite you and I already know you gonna get drunk?
Just wreak havoc.
Huh?
So just wreak havoc all over the place.
Get drunk, and then you're gonna talk about, but you didn't let me play with your toy when we was living over there off Stone Street. No, we ain't gonna. I think the family member cutoff is one of the biggest issues, is people not owning up to their mess, not owning up to generational curses, not owning up to why they like this or what, not really. And one thing that I'm gonna say this, and that's just like with you, I love about you is And even before I had got married, and you're right when it comes to me and my husband about you. Like if you don't, I don't talk to you, my husband. Well, Reggie, that's how we do. Because there comes a thing when you have agape love for people, and I think, and it's really with family too. Constructive criticism is a must for me. I cannot have nobody around me that can't check me. You can't check me. You can't be around me. Because guess what? I am not always right. And I am very argumentative. And not argumentative in a way. But I'm going to go and I want to know why you think that or why you feel that way. So I'm going to question you in your logics. But once I get your logics, oh, we good. Ain't no love lost or none of that. And I think that's what's wrong with a lot of family cutoffs. They don't want to grow. They don't want to grow. They don't want to forgive. It's so much unforgiveness. Like you got people that parents to me is the most. It was it last episode we was talking about cutting off family members, or why your kids cut you off. The one we was talking about, the why. Yeah, they get cut off because they never want to own up to their mess. They never want to own up to what they did. And so you can't grow because now you're gonna teach my children, your grandchildren that mess. No, we ain't finna ride like that, Sabu.
And that's why it goes back to the importance of communicating the cutoff.
Yeah.
Don't just cut people off and just cut them off. At least have the conversation of, well, this is what, because even if it doesn't open the door for reconciliation, it does open the door for reconciliation. It opens the door for you to understand their side and them to understand your side, but it also helps them to go forward better.
Yeah.
And that is why it's good to not cut off with animosity and hatred and all that stuff, because you should still want them to be better. Okay, you didn't do right by me, but at least your next. Let me tell you what I didn't like about what you did and about you. So maybe you can do right about the next, and then don't get an attitude when they go turn it around and tell you about yourself. You can't tell nobody about them and then not tell you about. So that's why it's important to have conversations. Because a lot of people are just dumb, they're idiots, they are annoying, they are worrisome, they are freeloaders, and they don't realize it about themselves. Because it's just how they are. And nobody ever told them, hey, this is you. Let me put this mirror up in your face. I'm gonna need you to see you.
And I think I have been one who have did something, betray. I ain't gonna say I wouldn't say betray. I didn't do right by a person, or do right by some. I have been that person before, and it's like a relationship now that I have been this way to somebody that really helped me out, in a time of need. But I feel like they did something too, and it's not a cutoff, but you got to be able to own up to your mess. And even with that situation, like me and my dad, like I love my daddy. I love him, I try, but I can deal with him, but I won't allow my kids to deal
with him. Which is a really good segue. So in some cases, maybe cutting off isn't the thing. Maybe it's readjusting how we deal with each other. Because, one thing about me, I'm just one, I don't care who you are. You just not going to treat me how you treat everybody else if I don't want you to treat me that way. I mean, you can holler. Do you know I get into arguments at TSA? I be going to the airport and them people in TSA, they are horrible.
I know we pressing on time here and there, but let me give y'all a testimony about how he is. Bro man texts me behind his name in my phone.
Absolutely.
Like it's
Absolutely.
my phone. Absolutely. And check, like, why you don't have my last name?
I mean, she just got me in her phone as Reggie, like I'm a stranger. I feel like that is very rude.
And
So the way my phone is, I don't expect people to have everything like mine, but the way my phone is, I don't care who you are, everybody's first, last name, sometimes your middle name is in there. If you have a title, I put your title up there. I might even put a picture of you up there. Like I would take the time to go on Facebook, find a decent picture of you, the best one, and if you're gonna choose just anyone, put your picture on there. If I can't find a nice picture, because some of y'all don't have no nice pictures. If I can't find a nice picture of you, I might like make it to where your initials are pink or make it to where your initials are red, depending on what your color is. I take this thing seriously. So I expect at the minimum.
yeah,
Some people like emojis. I don't like emojis on my contacts. That annoys me. But if you are an emoji person, at least put an emoji by my name. Don't
well,
just have me in there as Reggie like I'm a stranger. Like you
okay,
don't even know me.
yeah, the thing is though, my kids, Joshua and Sarai, guess what they got in their phone? Uncle Reggie.
See, now that's nice. At least they put a little flavor on it.
So, I just had to put that out there because I'm
Yeah, you
petty
got to
like
do me right. You got to do me right. Just because but but I ain't like that with everybody, guys.
and he cut me off. Thank God. I had to get it
I've been
correct.
trying. I've been trying.
Look,
I done got
he
to the point now I don't even try no more. I be like, girl, just here. I
Lord
don't even know.
ain't do it. The Lord said, "See you." He have tried.
I just, about this one, I don't know where she came from. I
Look,
don't know how she got mine. I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't know. I just woke up one day and I was talking to her on the phone and she been here ever since. And
and
I've
look,
given up.
he is love, like connection, but it's the accountability.
Hey,
But
man.
I can say that,
Hey, man.
and so yeah, and
So, yeah,
even
we have
like
to treat people. Go
yeah,
ahead.
I was
Not
just gonna
treat.
say, even after life changes, baby, married, and stuff like that, when you have a genuine connection, I think that you have to treat it as genuine. And some people really just don't do that. They oh, I outgrew you. How can you outgrow me for? And then people don't believe in nurturing and planting seeds no more. Like if I'm not all the way there, that's one thing I love about you. I have big hiccups and certain things, but you would correct me and say, I think your what's the word? Expectations of me is right on the mark, and you hold me accountable. And it's certain things, even with words, and you give me the avenues. I know I had this thing where I say certain things. You know what the man told me to do? I need you to go to Amazon and order these two books. One is words, how to speak, and you
Very
give
good
that.
book, guys.
Yeah, and when you have those type of people in your life, it's not all just cutting them off. Give them the avenues that they need. Some people just don't know. Some people are good people and just don't know how to develop in that skill or change certain ways or habits because it's been instilled in them so long. So that's why you
And
always have to
so that's
pray.
where patience comes in because a lot of people don't have patience. We're so used to because believe it or not, it's a popular thing now to cut people
Yeah,
off. Like it's a popular thing. Anything you see constantly happening on social media is the trending
yeah.
thing. Cutting people off is the trending thing. But it's not a good thing. It's not cute, and it's not necessary in a lot of situations. So that's why you have to have the patience and the grace. And one of the things that I try to do, I be trying my best with people to be very patient and to teach. And so a lot of the times we have to. So one of the things I have to do is have to learn. And I think I've learned it okay until I be able to yes or no me. But I think I've learned how to teach and not nag because it's just certain stuff that I just don't like. It's just certain stuff you not because again, you're not gonna do me how you do. I don't care what you do over there. You can talk even when you're doing it to yourself. You can talk crazy and you can down yourself and you can bash yourself and you can make excuses for yourself and you can talk about how you can't do this and you can't do that and all that stuff. You can do that over there. But when you're around me, you just ain't gonna be able to do it.
Right.
Because we have to be mindful of what we allow into our systems. And the people who are around you, you allow them into your system. And so either you're going to, so that's where it comes with that patience and teaching, either you're going to not be like me, but either you're going to grow or you're going to adjust because really and truly it's really being a better you. Or that's when it comes to the point of we got to take a look at, is this really working? You know, I have people in my life who are very entertaining. I can think of one right now. Very entertaining, will keep me laughing, but they just tell everything. They just talk entirely too much. They are a gossiper. So with this person, I have to look at, okay, do I cut you off or do I change how I deal with you? Do I cut you off or do I change how I deal with you? And so, in a sense, I have learned, okay, with this person, I can just change how I deal with you. You can still entertain me. We can still sit up and kiki and kaka and laugh because you are a good resource and good entertainment. But when it comes to, so what you got going on today? Well, I got to go ahead and get on the phone. You know, I'm
Right.
just gonna have to call you back. So we have to be wise in, is this person worth cutting off? Because some people are, or do I need to just change my behavior with them and around them? You know, and some people it's just best to go ahead and cut them off because you know if you got to change everything about you and you got to be watching every other thing you do before they come over your house, you got to make sure everything is spotless because you don't want them to. You need to cut them off.
Yeah.
Um, but you know, there comes a time where instead of just jumping straight to the end of getting your hacksaw and snipping that thing that keep that rope that keep y'all together, take a look at what are some steps before the cutoff. You don't
Right.
have to go 0 to 100. You can go a little in between 0 to 25, then a 50, 75, 83 before we get to 100 of cutoff.
Yeah, because some people, like I said, mine, and I ain't mean to just blurt it out like that when I said my dad, but I love my daddy.
Hey, her dad.
I love my daddy, but I haven't cut him off because that's my dad. But I have learned how to deal with him. And until you get into a healthy train of thought, I can't let you pass that spirit on to my kids. I know how to deal with it now. Like it's like I'm good. Do my kids know they grandfather? Because and when you cutting people off and you cutting family off, you got to be careful because especially when you got family kids behind it, because them kids you cut off your cousin, perhaps your cousin have kids, they grow old, your kids don't know them cousins, and what if something happens? They meet each other and connect or stuff like that. So you have to be very like I tell them, yeah, it's your granddaddy, but he have issues. And I have spoken to him about his issues and I have spoken to him about some of the things he do. And while I choose not to allow my kids around there because, I don't want them hurt. You can't you can shoot it to me, but you ain't shoot it to my kids and have them because sometimes you can protect your kids from certain things, protect people, expect your kids from certain situations. If you just be real with them, and that person, and that's cut out family cut out for me. So yeah, it's necessary sometimes, but it's not cut out forever. Like I'm gonna be there for him if he need me, but I give you so much space. I'm not finna give you, like you said at the beginning. If we was talking about the house, I can let you be in the kitchen. I'm gonna feed you. I'm gonna let you drink, but you ain't finna sit in my living room, lay on my couch. That's my example.
Very good example. And so, what I want everyone to take from this is, if I could give a little homework assignment to analyze one of the things that I do often. I haven't done it in a while. I haven't done it in a while. I'm laughing because I remember. So, one of the things that I do is I actually analyze the people in my life And I do analyze myself more often because one of the things we have to get a habit of is looking at everybody else, not ourselves. But then I analyze the people in my life and I say, I mean, literally, I go one by one. And I say, okay, where's this person? Are they where they need to be in my life? Do they still need to be there? Do I need to cut off? How do I assess this relationship? Then I go to the next. Then I go to the next. But see, the thing about me is I go a little step further. And that's the reason I saw that. I remember that time you remember this girl when I called you one time. I remember exactly where I was. I was at that organization and I was in their kitchen and it was early in the morning. I was getting started with the program. And I said, let me call her right quick. And I don't remember what I told you, but I was like, so I was just doing a little, because I do real life. Like I can do it, it's in my head, but I can do it to where I like will write it down and have like a page of notes about each friend. And so I pick up the phone and I call her like, hey girl, so you failing in this area and I'm gonna need you to get it together. Or it's just, you know. And so do you remember that when I did that to you? I
Uh-huh.
remember it. And it was so funny. When I was so serious. When I hung the phone, I was like, how dare you call the person? But you know, what I want people to do is start doing inventory, is what I call it. Take inventory of who's in your life. Do they need to be there? Do they need to be there in that? Okay, like she said, do they need to be in your living room? Do they need to be in your kitchen? Do they need to be on your porch?
Yeah,
Do they need to be, I'm just gonna meet you on the sidewalk out by the street?
yeah, yeah.
Or do they need to be a restraining order? You can even come within 100 feet of me. So you need to take inventory, figure out, are these people family or not? Do they need to be here? Do they need to be in this position? If not, where do they need to be? How can I mend if necessary? How can I keep the relationship going, but just more separated? And is there anything that can be done before I do that? And then be bold enough to have the conversation. Don't just sit around. I was talking to somebody about their mama, and they were like, because I tell you can't ask me for advice about nobody because I'm going to give it to you,
Okay.
So somebody asked me about their mom. I was like, girl, your mama a witch. And so I was like, um, yeah, so this is the problem with your mama, and this is what needs to be done. And do you they left by saying, well, I'm just gonna hope and pray that God shows them. And I was just awestruck that God shows them. He just showed you. Why you can't show it? So we have to get boldness about it ourselves. And I mean, keep it real because one of the things that we have to prioritize is ourselves. And if this person doesn't need to be in this position, we need to know where they need to be and how to get up out of that position and into the next. You have any closing words or anything to say?
And I want to just say, even with before one thing too, um, some people have issues. So, and some people have to get themselves together. So just say if you do separate yourself or cut you out, that's prime example. Like I said, my dad, even my daughter's dad, stuff like that. People out to cut out. When they get themselves together, meet them halfway. Forgiveness is everything. Forgiveness is everything. And so when they do heal, the child heals or the brokenness in them heal, don't push them down when they do get to their good part. Uplift them, encourage them, and let them know, be grateful for them to getting themselves together. I think there's a lot that goes with that too. When people do tend to change and you can't see the growth, it's okay. And, you probably can't see it with you because you haven't healed over what they did to you. That part. And a lot of people don't heal over betrayal or anything. They just always, that person ain't gonna never change. Some people do change. Some people do have a heart. God he do works on people. May not be in your time, but he does. And that's all I
And
got to
I'm
say.
gonna close with this. That's why it's important to forgive. You don't have to. They don't have to change for you to forgive. There are people who, well, he did this, well, he molested me, well, she did that. You can still forgive them, and justice can still be served.
Exactly.
You forgive for you. You forgive and you let them go. That don't mean you don't want them to go to jail.
Right.
Because they probably still deserve to be locked up, but you still forgive. And then that's why what she was saying about when they get themselves together, that's where those evaluations come in, take an inventory, because now that they're out, they were in, but now that they're out, so you still can look at it later, years later, and say, hmm, okay, I see they got it together, or I see they're at least trying, they're at
Ex-
least doing better. Is this something that needs to be reconciled?
Yeah.
Because we couldn't at that point. Is there a room for reconciliation now?
Is it
And
a, li-
so, is it what?
is it a little bit of hope?
Just a little bit,
Just
because all you need is a mustard seed. You know what I'm saying? And so, that's what we're gonna leave you with. Hope that it helps. Hope that some of you get
yeah.
some of these no good jokers out your lives,
Yeah.
and hope that you reconcile with some of these others and let these people go. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you. See you next time.